You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to talk some Toho Godzilla, and we're going to have a debate that we had on the podcast last week regarding whether we want a solo film or whether we want a versus film. This will give you guys an opportunity to say how you feel about it, and I'm interested to see what you think. So, versus solo. First of all, I don't think you could lose it either way. If I had to choose, I would go with a solo film. I would like to see how they would kind of introduce him back into the fray, how it would go down. Would they keep some of his origin? Would they do something completely new? It would be very interesting to see how they tackle a solo Godzilla film, and I'm hoping for that. And the rumor is that that's where they're gonna go, and I think that'll be a good move. I think it'll be a good move if they go solo, and maybe make it something like where it has a modern touch to it. We know that Japan has gone through some horrific natural disasters in the past couple of years, and maybe this can be a way for them to express that as well, much like they did back in the 50s with the nuclear war and the atom bomb. And I think that would make it a more compelling and a more heartfelt Godzilla reintroduction. Because, when you talk about the meltdowns and the tsunamis and the earthquakes, that touches home for a lot of people just because, these are people. We obviously don't want to see other people go through these natural disasters and these struggles. So if they bring Godzilla to represent what they went through during that time, I think it could make for a very good movie, a very good solo film. And that would be very interesting to see. On the hand of the versus movies, this is interesting because when you think about Godzilla versus movies, everyone has their favorite Godzilla villain. And while it would be cool, because you guys know I love Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla, while it would be wonderful to see them, we know that those are two characters we've seen a lot of. And I said on the podcast, I would love to see Megalon, a more, obviously, a modern-day version of Megalon. And one of the things I mentioned in the podcast was that when the 2014 movie was becoming a big thing to talk about last year, actually around this time last year, a little bit sooner though, more like to the end of the summer going into the fall. And there was that nice picture on DeviantArt. I wish I remember the gentleman's name who drew it, but it was like a Megalon that was more modern, and he just looked so badass. And I thought, wow, that would be so cool if they brought him back like that. But after a couple of days, I thought to myself, I would like to see a brand new monster. I even mentioned that I'd like to see maybe a Japanese version of the Muto and watch Toho Godzilla stomp on the Muto. But definitely, if it had to be a versus movie, I would definitely want to see a brand new monster, a new creation. Maybe something that, definitely something that seems familiar, but something we just never seen, Another monster I thought about that I'd love to see would be Biollante. Because I think the Biollante kaiju would do much better this time around than she did the first time around. She's the kind of monster that grew in popularity as the years went by. She was kind of like the older the berry, the sweeter the juice. You know what I mean? So I think now would be a good time to give her character a second opportunity if you had to, pick a monster, if it was a versus movie. Another name I hear kicking around a lot is Bagan. And, somebody asked me on The Nation why I didn't make fun or crack jokes about Bagan coming into the fray for a new Godzilla movie. And I told him that I had thought about it just as joking around. But you know what? In all seriousness, considering he almost made the cut 3 times, I think it would be fair to bring him in. I don't necessarily disagree with that. It would definitely answer the question as to how tough he is compared to Godzilla. There's a lot of people who think he could be Godzilla's toughest opponent, but it's nothing you could really back it up on because it's based on a game which is not canon to the stories or the movies. So that's just speculation. So I think that's a question I would like finally answered, whether or not Bagan is tough enough to hang, So I definitely wouldn't be opposed to any new monsters. But at the end of the day, if I had to choose, if I had to make a choice, I definitely want a solo Godzilla movie that tackles some of the natural disasters that Japan has had to deal with today or the last couple of years, and something that Godzilla represents that. and that would kind of be a whole new take, a homage to 54, obviously. And you know, a lot of people were asking what I think the suit would look like. I'm gonna do that in another whole video, because there's a big debate about the suitmation, the CGI. You guys know how I feel. I think it's the best of both worlds is what's gonna work. And if you listen to the podcast, obviously my dream choice, if I was running the show at Toho, would be to choose Andy Serkis to do the suitmation as well as the motion capture CGI. So a lot of things that I discussed on the podcast, along with Chris and Xander and Olivia, those are the things how I feel. But after giving this some thought, if it had to be a versus movie, it definitely would be. I would like to see Biollante come back. I wouldn't mind seeing Bagan, believe it or not. I wouldn't mind seeing Bagan just to finally get that question answered. And I would definitely like to see a brand new monster, something we've never seen before. But overall, solo movie tackling the recent events that have happened in Japan. I want Godzilla to represent those events. And either way, it doesn't matter what they put out there because I'm going to watch it. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the Nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit E.T.N's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description.